It's really the start of another working week, today being Monday the 29th of April 2019. Welcome to Star Good Morning Show here on Star Television. We are broadcasting live from our Media One Center, 3 Mama Street, Brookfield in Freetown. Top stories in the program. The Sierra Leone Institution of Geoscientists on Friday 26th April, as part of their celebration of the 58th independence anniversary, has called for a rethink in the geoscience political landscape, marching towards modern trend with a theme towards a radical alternative for a new political geology and political economy for Sierra Leone at the conference hall in the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources U building. The Sierra Leone Brewery Limited on Friday 26 April 2019 took media practitioners and journalists on a media tour to showcase the 278 billion worth investment and the company's production facility to enhance a better understanding on the activities of the company in the area of production and productivity. With me in the studio is the registrar for the Leaders College, Paul Jibate. He's here to talk to me on how they intend to actually showcase their aspiration in the development and growth of this university. Good morning and great to have you in the studios.
Morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Good morning, viewers.
And remember, the Star Good Morning Show is proudly sponsored by Local Commercial Bank. But you can be part of this program by sending us messages on the number 0881035500.
Keke account, you in a keke rider. Osusu account, for you in a trader. Mighty account.
You, I don't people only keke there. Who say you the worship so? Tell who smoke him away the worship for you don't get all length in there.
Now Local Commercial Bank, now then the worship for me.
Local Commercial Bank don't get money, man. Tell me about the account.
Na keke account, na inna the money, man.
Tell me what is keke. Tell me what is keke.
I be advised on the last time say
yes.
Make una go open keke account. Always una the admire so. Na keke account don't give me. I got over 20 kekes the way they want for me.
What in?
Yes. Even the big ones then at the country presently. Na me and then they operate.
With that small money, we will put in the account. Now you will buy all the things they are so with.
That small money they na in turn something for me the like today.
Now me they get money. I will give me woman. Petty money with all the eater.
Mommy man, take your money, go na any branch. Tell them say you want to open account. Simple.
The problem I get now that me na bike rider. I wonder if I'm going to give for open keke account for me.
Whether you na bike rider, whether you na keke rider,
yes.
Whether you dey ride omolanke or push wheelbarrow, I tell una for free. That account dey there for una all.
Eh?
Yes.
So how? Any kind.
Just go na any branch.
Any of them branch?
Yes. Tell them say you want to open keke account. That's all.
The matter don't done. It don't done. Me to go open your account. Nothing.
You wey dey ride bike, keke riders, omolanke pushers, una can join we na Local Commercial Bank inside keke account. We all can be millionaire.
Can join Local Commercial Bank.
Join Local Commercial Bank. Bank with Local Commercial Bank. Number one. Bank with Local Commercial Bank. Number one.
Welcome back from that commercial break. We move along with the program. One of Sierra Leone's renowned scientist, Dr. Alhaji Njai, has on Friday 26th of April 2019 made a presentation on the topic, a radical alternative for a new political geology and political economy for Sierra Leone and Africa at the monthly meeting of the Sierra Leone Institution of Geoscientists at the conference hall in the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources. My colleague George Elliott Sam has details while in attendance of this conference.
One of Sierra Leone renowned scientist, Dr. Alhaji Njai, has on Friday 26 April made a presentation on the topic, a radical alternative for a new political geology and political economy for Sierra Leone and Africa at the monthly meeting of the Sierra Leone Institution of Geoscientists, SLINGE, that was held at the conference room of the Ministry of Mines and Mineral Resources, 5th floor, U Building, Freetown. While making his submission Commission, Dr. Alhaji Njai, said, to know the geology and political economy of the country, we have to first look back at the past and look again at the present. In that, as a nation, we will be able to develop a well plan in the area of mines and mineral resources for the future generation. Dr. Njai further stated that, according to the finding of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, mines and mineral resources were one of the main contributing factors which led to the civil war in the country.
The impact of mining and minerals on the war in Sierra Leone, how it really pushed it. This is a geological frame. It's a geological resource issue and became a major aspect of our country's civil war. It became a major aspect of people, of the maiming, the killing, and the senselessness of the war. It became a regional issue. You know, Liberia was recording higher number of exports from diamonds that we know Liberia don't produce. Ivory Coast was exporting diamonds that Ivory Coast has no diamond resources, right? As far as Burkina Faso. And so when we talk about this, it is so much more powerful than just looking at just what we are doing in Sierra Leone. It's looking at how our resources, our geological resources, are fueling the lifestyles, the high standard of living in other parts of the world. And communities where it is coming from here are actually stuck in abject poverty, in abject stagnation. So for instance, you look at De Beers, you look at all the big investors out seated in either in Australia, in the US, or in Europe and others, having significant, very high standards of living and high standards of living. And it's all maintained and appropriated from resources that are coming from communities that don't even have electricity, right? They don't have even a basic water supply.
The Deputy Minister of Political and Public Affairs, Amara Kalon, said his ministry is always open and ready for such a fruitful discussion. He also applauded the Sierra Leone Institution of Geoscientists, SLINGE, for their strive towards informing the public about the mines and mineral resources of the country, and also called on them to do more sensitization in colleges, schools across the country.
I strongly believe that for the new direction, even though we are saying we don't want to hinder our development agenda on our mineral resources, but I think it's good that we start to look again, taking into cognizance the importance of this topic, you know, a radical alternative for a new political geology and political economy. I think it's time that we look at what we have as our natural resources as an opportunity for us to enhance our political economy.
The Sierra Leone Institution of Geoscientists, SLINGE, is a professional organization that is formally registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission of Sierra Leone that seek the career interest of geoscientists in Sierra Leone and also promotes the status and reputation of geoscientists in the country. For Star News in Freetown, I am George Elliott Sam reporting.
Thank you so much, George Elliott Sam, for that comprehensive report. As I said, my guest in the studio is Paul Jibate. He is a registrar for the Leaders College. Paul, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning again, Abu. Good morning, viewers.
Give us a clear background as to how the establishment of this college came to be.
Thanks. So it came from a need that we saw in society, from a gap that we saw and we felt we are capable enough to fill, and that is the education sector and the skills gap that we saw, that the skill mismatch was causing a problem for institutions, learning institutions, academic institutions, and the market, and how that can be curbed. So we thought about it keenly, and that is what inspired our vision of seeing a Sierra Leone where we would have skilled and competent young people who we believe would be leaders in all sector, and how we are positioned to train those people to fill that gap. Basically, the mismatch, to close that mismatch from the academic institution to the marketplace, and we have empowered ourselves with a mission of providing the space, the platform for that to happen, and that is why we created and established Leaders College last year, and we've been running up until today, and it's been smooth, quite experiential, I would say.
Could this be as a result of where perhaps you've seen over the years that the course curriculum in tertiary institution don't seem to be solving the emerging problems of our current society?
Yeah, you're correct. Not
Redirecting the focus now on leadership skill, entrepreneurship, you name it, to actually suiting the market, the job market.
Yes, everyone. Basically, everything rises and falls on leadership. Whatever challenge you see in a society, whatever problem you see in nations, in a company, an organization, a school, or even at home, everything rises and falls on leadership. And to your question specifically, we have seen this, not seen, it is there. Our curriculum does not produce what the market needs educationally. You find out that someone will go to university, spend 4 or more years studying X. I don't want to mention any any course now, so that people will feel disadvantageous. X course, and they come out after the 4 years into the market, and you find that they don't have the requisite competence nor the skills to handle a particular job. It becomes a chaos. But I would want to give kudos to most of our Sierra Leonean youth who, in spite of this challenge, thought it fit that they could create businesses for themselves and have gone through the entrepreneurial path. We have young people now who have even passed through academic institutions with the right skills and have become entrepreneurs, which is in turn helping to solve the unemployment situation that we have as a nation, and also getting themselves socio-economically empowered to live.
You know, there are two things.
Yes.
Much talks about this question of people not getting employment,
Okay.
failing to look on the other side, the employability aspect of individual. You must be able to get yourself employment if you are employable in any organization or institution. Now, do you see in your view that there is a paradigm shift where people are trying to capacitate themselves through entrepreneurship development, career path, leadership skills, and all the rest, forgetting about the traditional subject matters of history,
Yeah.
English?
Yeah.
Of course, let me be careful not to name it.
Abdurrahman, congratulations to Sierra Leone, but I would say 58 years of existence, independent existence, what do we have to show? For 58 years, we've been down the line of this rigorous academic path, just like you mentioned, the subject you mentioned, and we found that it hasn't given us much as a nation. That is why Leaders College, our creation was not to produce people who will be employed in a sense. Our drive is to produce people who will be deployed in society, meaning the 21st century is one of the entrepreneurial nature, leadership and entrepreneurship. There is little one can say about these things. If you want to go in Sierra Leone, out of Sierra Leone, globally, look at the names. For example, the people like Steve Jobs, of blessed memories, the Elon Musk, the owner of Tesla, and even the Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook. Yes, you would say they tried, even Bill Gates tried going into a learning institution, but at some point they got bored. They step off. Why? Because they found their true interest, where their true skills lie, and they invested in that. And today we are blessed with companies like Microsoft, Facebook, Tesla, and the likes. So yes, Academia is nothing that should be frowned at. What we are saying, we want a merge, and that is what we are doing at Leaders Courage. The brick and mortar system, coupled with the soft skills which the 21st century demands. Meaning, there are certain, I'll call them the corporate attitude that one would need, the corporate etiquette that people really need to function effectively in society, whether they want to get themselves businesses of their own, or they want to be deployed in the financial sector, for instance, in the agricultural sector, in the mining area. To point a few, you find out that even in our mine, let's begin with the mining sector, there are certain machines that are brought into Sierra Leone. Annoyingly, these people get experts to come and operate those machines. Why not Sierra Leoneans? If we have the institutions, the TVET institutions here, the vocational centers to train these people to operate those machines. I mean, these people from other countries, they do not have two heads. They do not have two brains. They have single heads like Sierra Leoneans do. What is the difference? The difference is our mentality, our approach to things. We cannot go back to those 1900 books with the same old theories, dusting them off and on by some professor, with all due respect to professors.
And we don't seem to be solving the emerging trend of the global society.
Exactly. We tend to be going around the same cycle, doing things in the same way, and expecting a different result. It doesn't work that way. Our approaches have to be different. We have to be seasoned. We have to think global. What is in global context? People, I mean, you and I in suits, but this is just for TV purposes. When we get down off these cameras, we get our hands dirty, fold our sleeves, throw the suits away, and get to the practical sense of things. There are people in studio this morning who are behind the scenes, who are really making us seen today. Without those people, cameras will be shut, the lights will be off. So it is the nitty-gritty of the 21st century. Skills and competence are not just in the sense of academia and certificates. You could have a very good certificate but do not have the skills to match the certificate. So that is the gap we think we are filling at Leaders College. And thank goodly, our first products have been tremendous. And that is why we have decided that for the fear of finance and financial challenges, we do not want to put money in front any longer, and that is why we came up with independent promotion, which with your permission I'll be talking more about very soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Take us through some of the packages that the college do offer.
Yeah. 21st century approach, as I mentioned earlier. So we are more focused on TVET courses, technical, vocational, and aspect of things, getting people required with the requisite skills, empowered, and giving them the competence that they need to function effectively in 21st century. For one, I was in another platform, Star Radio, this morning, and somebody texted in and said, do we offer graphics design, for instance? I said, yes, you can come in. Graphics design is what, those are the practical things we offer you. Graphic design, web designing, and stuff like that. Getting yourself the practical skills where you might have a certificate, and your certificate will be more valuable than those who went through a 4-year, a 5-year course. I mean, that will just take you 4 to 6 months to practice. You get the right skills, and you would get, for instance, 5 or 6 jobs in a week and earn close to, if not more than what a particular professional earns in a month. So like graphic design, capacity building courses, youth and sustainable development will get the youth in practical sense of how to be entrenched in society, how to identify challenges and become and think of solutions to those challenges. Waste management, for instance, someone could go into that and partner with the city council and become a billionaire by the twinkle of an eye. Women in governance. We found out that countries like Rwanda, for instance, have the highest rate of female parliamentarians and participation of women in governance. We learned from that based on our research, and we found that certain things that they are doing that we as a country are not doing. Looking at Rwanda from 94 to now, 20 years or more, they have transformed their situation completely from a genocide country to now one of the fastest growing country in Africa. Why not Sierra Leone? We can do the same thing. Our war should not be an excuse. That is gone. We will never go to that situation again. Let us focus on development. That's why we are infusing courses like the Texas courses, where we can get people technically inclined on how to do things. And of course, ICT courses. You can be a novice in ICT and come into Leaders College. We'll groom you from the basics to advanced, where you become an expert in that area. We found that, look at yourself now with a very sophisticated computer in your lab. There is little or nothing one can do now without computer in this college, in life, 21st century. So we need to get people plugged into that, how to compete with the global nations out there.
And the curious mind, somebody watching you now may want to know, what's the mode of enrollment into the university in terms of the academic requirements?
Yeah, academic requirements for procedural sake and for academic reasons, we still abide by what NCTVA and TEC requirements are. The basic ones is you should have your credits, your WAS credits, and thereby to enroll. And that is one aspect of it. But we still have very special areas where we focus on. For instance, there's this word society uses on certain people. We call them dropouts. We do not believe in dropouts.
Okay.
We do not believe in dropouts.
It's quite a hard word.
We believe, it's quite discriminatory. Yeah. And we do not believe in that. We believe that everyone has a chance. That is why at Leaders College we have categories of people we deal with. You find out that certain people who would want to take the WAS exam would be scared of their English and maths requirements. We have a provision for those people, skilled and seasoned facilitators who deliver English and maths lessons to those people and ensure that they go and take their WAS and pass. And even after the WAS, you find out that people become idle, not doing anything. If you ask them, the normal word will say, I wait for the result. That is a thing of the past now, with Leaders College at the forefront. So we have a need, we have created a special space for people like that, and we absorb them, get them into the capacity building and courses, and of course the Texas courses, and get themselves skilled enough. You could find out that even with just your WAS, you could back it up with a skill, and you'll be gainfully employed and doing. There are a lot of stories right now from our students. There's one we just went to in Cambia, who is doing well in agriculture, wonderfully well, and producing and crop, selling and to his environs and all of that, working with the local slurry people there, getting seedlings and also distributing the seedlings, selling and making sales, and getting people empowered in many ways than one there. Okay. So it's really, really a good one. And for the independent promotion,
I'll come back to you on that aspect, which is pretty much central to the development and growth of the college.
Certainly.
The Sierra Leone Brewery Limited on Friday, 26th April 2019, took media practitioners and journalists on a media tour to showcase the 278 billion worth investment and the company's production facility to enhance a better understanding on the activities of the Sierra Leone Brewery in the area of production and productivity. Here is the highlight of that report.
On behalf of the management team, it is my pleasure to welcome you to Sierra Leone Brewery Limited to tour our recent investments in facilities upgrade in our brew house and to view our recently overhauled packaging bottling line consisting 3.5 billion euros. That's the packaging line upgrade. Since 1962, we pride ourselves with that rich heritage tied to the history of the country, with a vision to grow with Sierra Leone, to improve the efficiency of our bottling operations, and to ensure our service to our revered customers and consumers into the future. In January 2019, Sierra Leone Brewery Limited conducted a massive overhaul and extensive maintenance of our bottling packaging line. Based on planned, scheduled maintenance, manufacturer's recommendation, and international standards. We employ the services of Krones, a German firm that specializes in the supply of and modernization of such plants, together with a large team of Sierra Leone buoys, locally trained Sierra Leonean engineers and technicians, to conduct the process, which came to completion in the first week of February. The project, which immediately follows the most expensive buoy expansion and upgrade in facilities, is another large investment of the company in the economy and manufacturing sector of Sierra Leone. We took another major step in the improvement of our facilities in the journey of reaching state-of-the-art status. Today, we are also excited to showcase to you our latest investment in facilities upgrade, which are part of a large modernizing and expansion program of over 278 billion euros. These investments have further enhanced our production capacity, and with this, we are confident that we can meet ever-increasing consumer demand for the upcoming years. These investments will also make sure that we maintain the highest quality of our products. Among others, Star Lager Beer, Music Beer, Guinness Foreign Excellence Stout, Salon Beer, 100% locally produced sorghum.
Team get wrapped the park, wrap the park, get we got what we call a welder. They will cut the fin into 2 halves, and then they get into this machine that does the cooking. Yeah? You would not appreciate this, you know, it would have been nice for you to see this one. Yeah? But this is what, we can't go through these lanes and then they get to these points here. Continue. Yeah? For those of you who haven't seen this before, you can see the Montina here, it hasn't got the end, the lid. Yeah? You haven't got the lid. I will grab the lid for you to see. This is the lid. Yeah? And what will happen? The lid gets the filler goes into that. The time goes into the filler. About India. Yeah? What is the meaning? India, what's the meaning? Empty bottle. Empty bottle inspection. Yeah? So what will happen? This bottle can be there empty. Okay? Just to fly.
Like previously, you need to go lock valve manually yourself. But it's not at this screen, you control all the process. Like waiting this one, they clean. They clean the machine with the over there. So they didn't know how it go. So like all this the unit you know, see outside, all the control by this monitors.
How are they cleaning them from inside? How are they cleaning them from inside?
Well, we get the process we call CIP. CIPS. Cleaning in place. For any, for example, like now they want filter Montina. So they need for clean very, very well. They use costly acid. Okay. Disinfectant. Okay, for like ensure say we don't get any yeah.
Thanks to Abdullah Kamar for putting those materials together. We recall that the African Achievers Award has consistently honored great African leaders, humanitarian philanthropists, excellence in leadership. The African Achievers Award will today be officially launched in Sierra Leone. I have with me in the studio Tony Rex Ida Minabo, great, and Kilba patient Kwashi. Good to have you in the studios.
Thank you for having us.
Welcome both to Sierra Leone and Media One Center.
Thank you.
By the way, are you first timers traveling to Sierra Leone?
Yes, my first time.
What's your impression?
The people are friendly. I had good food last night.
That could be a very nice assessment. Tony, your dream in establishing the African Achievers Award spanned since your days as a former president for Nigerian students in Scotland. Am I right?
Yes.
Great. Is the AA an accomplishment of your global desire to actually celebrate achievers?
Yeah, I would say yes. This is the ninth edition.
Yeah, no.
The ninth edition. The idea was conceived when I was back in England, 2010. I was doing my master's degree in international contract law. And we had the first awards in London, which was sponsored by King's College London. And the second as well, by King's College London. Then we had to bring it back to Africa. And we had the third one in Nairobi, Kenya, at the Hilton Metropole. After then, we proceeded to Ghana, where the states, we had it at the State Banquet Hall, where the president graciously gave us the State House banquet to use to host all Africans. And still, we've been, this is 9th edition, last year was at the UK Parliament. It's been a huge success because I can see it has showcased Africans on the global stage. Africans that were never recognized for their work, community builders, also leaders, as well as young people that have been impacting in their local community. They are so excited right now because they can tell their story. So the world has to know we have African achievers, people that are change makers, that have transformed their community. So we want to see that these people are used as a global template for the world to see. We have great Africans.
Patience, you are here today to officially launch the AAA in Seoul House. That's, in your view, could be seen as a fulfillment of that desire.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like you rightly said, you have to honor people that have made lots of impacts in one way or the other. And if we do this outside, why don't we bring this back home? And launching this here in Sierra Leone today is a mind blowing. For me, is a dream come true.
In the view of Tony, I reiterate his words that people tend to accomplish more when they are properly motivated.
True.
And Africa, more than ever, needs to be motivated to exceed her challenges. Do you see that desire really through the conscience of Africans?
Absolutely. Absolutely, but I want him to throw more shade on that.
Yes, you can see that every year the recipients that have been showcased to the world are people of impeccable character, people that have been change makers, like I said earlier on. So this has also motivated other people to know that you need to work hard to also be labeled as an African achiever, because we need to put Africa back on the global stage, like I said. So I feel so happy, I feel that this vision is alive, and it takes a platform that is well respected and recognized for also the UK to also give the parliaments to use, and also Ghana. We had it, like I said, in the State House to host it. So it shows that gradually, media in South Africa tagged the African Achievers Award as a Nobel Peace Prize for Africa.
Okay.
Because they've seen that our recipient, from Archbishop Desmond Tutu to the likes of also the young people that also we honored, and also Adeshina, who is also the current African Development Bank president. These people are people that they've kept a clean track record of success.
Exactly.
So you can see that we Africans, we should help ourselves. We should tell the world that we have great Africans, and everyone should rally around any great African achiever.
So Tony, the most critical aspect about your initiative is about self-sustaining source of funding. You noted initially that the first, second, and third edition was sponsored by the college in England.
The first and second, yes.
Great. How do you intend to actually break that yoke? Otherwise, it will question the integrity of the enterprise itself.
Yes, thank you. I remember Forbes magazine, which is an acclaimed global magazine from the US, also asked me similar questions some years back. How I fund, or how we fund. I also we're a team, so not just me, how we fund the African Achievers Award. We have several companies like the Achievers Media, that has also been known for profiling people, for managing reputation of organizations, of countries, of
So in other words, you manage a kind of media consultant.
yes. So the media consultancy arm, it's more of the marketing arm as well, to see that we source funding from companies and also assist them in profiling them. So most of those funds now, because we make sure that's why no one has ever questioned our integrity for the last 9 years.
Okay.
So that's why you see every single recipient are people that do not buy their words. We also request companies, we write them to also be part of the funders, to sponsor, because every global awards, even in the US and in Sierra Leone here, in South Africa, you also have an arm of an organization that sources for funds, markets, and asks companies to key into it. And ever since, we've not had any rejection, because they've seen that we've operated in a transparent medium to showcase our achievers. So funding has not actually been a problem, because anybody we approach, organization, individual, they are so excited, they're happy, because we've maintained the track record of excellence.
Okay, Patience, could this be the view of your organization, that you've made significant progress in identifying, encouraging, and rewarding individual organizations that are advocating the cause of Africa?
Yes, I will agree with you. Also, yes. Yes.
Are you of that view?
I am, absolutely. 100%.
How do they pay back?
Well, you see, when you honor these recipients, like he said, they have achieved a lot, right? One way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
They've made impacts, right? So when they make these impacts, you honor them. The other people out there see what you have done. You have honored these people, and it gives them the courage, the zeal to want to push through, to want to impact more, to want to be recognized. So you see, it's like a turnover. It's like a turnover. Is it like a turnover? And if every single person will want to contribute and make the society a better place, I am sure every other person is going to be celebrated.
So quickly, Tony, in that view, has a paradigm shift changed where notable Africans in the likes of Dr. Rilwano Lukman, the former OPEC Secretary General and former Petroleum Minister in Nigeria, the Right Honorable Koper, the former Deputy Prime Minister of Zimbabwe, bringing all of them into the fray of the AAA? Has the dynamics really changed?
I would tell
for global acceptance.
I would tell you, if we have remained where we are,
mm-hmm.
even the British Parliament won't let us use the venue to host the AAA. That's to show that we run a transparent system. And since then, we've had great African achievers, because it has also motivated others. Every year we have thousands of nominations. Every year. That's to show that, and there's been an increase in throughout our nominations. So we've had progress, and I'm excited, and I'm bold to say, excellence has also been our contribution to the African continent, because we've showcased Africans on the global stage. People ask why doing it in England and also Africa, because we need to tell everyone in the West that we have Africans of high reputation, Africans with impeccable character, Africans that are also impacting. Last time I heard one of the Africans owns part of the shares in one of the airports in England, and you can see lots of Anthony Joshua, who is one of the heavyweight boxer, who is originally Nigerian British. It's a Nigerian. It's an African. So we must showcase those there to see that Africans are really contributing, not just human capital development. Also, Africans are also, it's a great place for investment.
Okay, I'll come back to you so that we can talk much more on the recent initiative of investors meet inventors, which is a critical component of your initiative. Mr. Gilbert, the establishment of the college,
Yes, please.
moving towards what you refer to as independent what? Independent finance?
Yes.
Yes. How important could it be?
Yeah, I mentioned that because we saw that since inception, we saw that most people want to hinder themselves to get empowered because the fact that they consider finance a challenge. And so we thought it fit that we should use this independence anniversary to sort of make a promotion for those people in that category. And that is, we are taking off 25% of their tuition fees.
Okay.
Okay. Instead of paying 100, we pay 75% in the tuition fee, and the registration form is free for everyone and for every course that you want to apply and study for. Yeah, and that could be obtained at 4 Old Line at Tembe Town, and when you knock on the Leaders College door, you get that form for free of cost. And you could also email us at leaderscollege@gnet.org, leaderscollege@dnet.org, or you could call 079587818 or 080292886 for that purpose.
So how central is entrepreneurship and ICT within the main course curriculum of the college?
Permit me to say it's the heart of what we do.
Mm-hmm.
It's the heart of what we do. 21st century is broadly entrepreneurial. It could only get better from what we've seen. Mention names in the international setting. Coming back to Australia, we have a dear friend of, I would say, Star TV and ours, Dr. Gilpin, who is doing great work with the local commercial bank, the likes of Joabas Bangura, who's also doing that land doing well. And we have young entrepreneurs as well, people like Mel Ford, Mutala Mohammed, and a lot of them in Australia taking that venture and doing a lot of good in that space.
Okay.
Yes.
Tony, I'm keen to know how insightful is the new initiative of IMI, Investors Meets Inventors, where, in your view, African can present their ideas to possible investors, bringing to life African science and technology creativity to the world.
I'm so excited to say it's been a success, although funding has been a bit slow. Our last inventor, Otney Creator, is we, with the help of our partners and few people, we were able to send him to the US to see how he can further his creativity. He designed a reusable rocket launcher. He didn't learn that from anywhere. He just got inspiration, did more research online, and today he's been accepted by top people, NASA and a couple of them. So we want to see how we can search for more African inventors to see that they get fundings. There are lots of them, even in Sierra Leone, a lot of them. But funding has always been an issue. There's been an issue. For instance, in Nigeria, a couple of African countries. I will also encourage governments to see in their budgets every year, if they want remarkable progress in Africa, they should keep a certain amount of money and source for inventors, because we have lots of them. Last time, one of that guy is an African, he designed one of the Chevrolets. A lot of African inventors are making impact globally. And
Tony, glad to tell you that here the current administration has created a department on ICT, and that department is headed by no less a person, a product from the MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, is Dr. Paul Senge.
Wow, that's great. I also heard the government is doing very well in Sierra Leone. The new government is doing well. I will give them our commendation. They're doing very well. So we want every other African country to see that they have a certain department, not just having that department. There should be funds available for these inventors, because invention takes
to
lots of
realize
money.
objectives.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So I will also appeal there should be more and more fundings every year
Before I come to operation to tell our audience how you wish to go about to the launching of this program today, the AAA in Sierra Leone, how far are you in achieving your promise to collaborate with the African Union, especially having the eyes on South Africa, making the platform of African achievers more bigger with more opportunities to attract both African and foreign investors?
Okay. First, the African Union is a body that we all respect and recognize as how the UN is also respected everywhere. It's a decision-making body for Africans. But the AAA, we're happy to collaborate with any big institution. But for now, we've been trying to see. We've been consistent with our dealings, our internal structure, and I'm happy to say that we're not ready for any collaboration. 3-4 years ago, we also honored the former chairperson of the African Union. She was
Zuma?
Yes, Mrs. Zuma. We also honored her. We've also honored a couple of people that have also been associated with the African Union. So our plan is to see that collaborating with the African Union has to do with, like I said, how more fundings. We want to have a strategic collaborations with them. It must be a collaboration that will affect young Africans, because young Africans are making great impact globally. So we want to see that this collaboration has to do with social impact as well, not just about raising the profile of the African Achievers Award. I'm happy it's already been raised, but we still have lots of work to do.
Okay.
So our collaborations with anybody will have to do with social impact.
A quick one. Mr. Jibata Sitan here is the registrar for the Leaders College. There has been an onward courses where they now tend to question the reading of history, geography in all of these colleges, now moving towards ICT and also entrepreneurship. That is questioning the old beliefs, forming a kind of the opinion in the realm of academia. These are the things I'm sure Africans need to put their effort towards and, you know, moving the trend of modern development.
Sure. We'll be happy to collaborate with great institutions like his and a couple of them, because one of the things I preach to Africans, let us collaborate more. I'll give an instance. You see an African owning a company. He is the MD, he's the chairman, he's the CEO, he's the accountant. And when you ask him why, he said no, he doesn't want to bring anybody in.
Exactly.
But the easiest means to see that your company, if you look at most African companies, young SMEs, after 5 years, they're dead. It just becomes a paper.
Because there's no synergy.
There's no synergy. So when you see that you source for, oh, fine, you're a very good accountant, let's collaborate, come in. I'm not going to pay you, but we can give you equity. You see someone is very good in marketing. I told someone, he wants to start an e-commerce company, because I also do business incubation. Why don't you get people with skills and give them equity? Because you can't do it alone. Because the problem has always been funding for ideas. So the key to success in Africa is collaboration.
Okay.
Because the eyes cannot say I'm more important than the nose.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why someone in Sierra Leone should also collaborate with someone in Nigeria, collaborate with someone in Kenya, collaborate with somewhere in Liberia, and South Africa. Before you know it, we have
The
a big
global chain.
conglomerate to see that we make an impact.
So you are in the country now. This program will officially launched today. How is it going to be like?
It's going to be mind-blowing. We expect to see leaders that have achieved a lot being honored today. And coming out from the hotel, I think there was one among many of them that came in. I think a senator.
Yeah, one of the senators. Yes.
One of the senators in Liberia, and he came in today. Lodged the same hotel we looked, and he was so excited. He was so excited.
How did you come to having a selection process?
Yeah, first, you know, in the US they call something midterm elections, and there's the main election. So this is every time we launch a chapter, we also see how we also recognize few people that have made impact. But the major award event is going to be in July at the UK Parliament. So the most important thing we want to see is that how can we also drag investors to see that every country we launch our chapter, they should see how they can also help the common man.
Yes.
So we want to preach social impact.
Okay.
We want to see that most local communities that do not have a cottage hospital, they could see how they can get a small cottage clinic. Also, we understand that electricity is a problem.
Yes.
But there are little small solar panels that could serve.
Will address all of these challenges.
Exactly.
Yes.
Till we have a lasting solution to electricity in Africa.
Okay.
So these are the things we want to preach today.
Let me tell you something, Tony. There has been this onward cry, especially like women, for more quota for women representation in Parliament. When I look at the comments made by no less a person, the Right Honourable Koppe, during her acceptance speech for the award for women empowerment and democracy. I quote, she said, "The accolade has a strong statement to the world about women's contribution to society and leadership as a true celebration of women in every aspect of life." So the question is, does this resonate with your organization thinking in leveraging opportunity for women?
Yes. Immediately you raised that, I said this is mine because he knows I love whatever that has to do with women advocacy.
Great.
Let me say that. Women, I think, really feel left out. We talk about Nigeria, I think, and in the world. And they deserve to be recognized. Right? Mm-hmm. Now, what I'm trying to say is, we want to see more women participate. We want to see more women get involved. Number one, in governance. Number two, in administrative work, whatever you do, we want to see women get involved. The society needs to be gender friendly. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. The society needs to be gender friendly. There are lots of discrimination. Oh, a woman can't do this, a woman shouldn't do this, a woman shouldn't do that. For example, we take in politics. A woman shouldn't do this, a woman shouldn't do this. But when, like he said earlier on, we look at the synergy. The synergy is what makes us achieve more as a society, right? So when you give the women opportunity, to showcase what they have, and then you, the man, you bring your own idea, we grow faster. But I would want him to also chip in something because there's something he's working on. He's the brain box behind this whole African, so he should throw in the
founder
lights.
and the director.
No, but he is the founder, so he has more lights on that.
Tony.
I'm so excited.
Great.
Because women are taking over gradually.
Absolutely, we are. We are.
Rwanda is a test
case.
A test case. But as she said, we should give more opportunity. For politics, the finance lies with the men.
Exactly.
So we should see how we can also.
And this is where they dictated the pace.
So we'll see how we can also fund them.
Okay.
And say, because if you train a woman, you're training like a whole community.
Exactly.
Because if you see a mother, why I also advocate for more women to participate in governance and corporate governance as well. It's because they do, I wouldn't say better, but they also do very well like the men.
Very well.
If you see a woman in a helm of affair, you can look at most international organizations like the African Union, you can see the United Nations, where we have Amina Mohammed. She's doing very well. She used to be the environment minister in Nigeria, and she did very well. So we're not saying, they mentioned the scare that the women will take over. No, but that synergy, that collaboration, because you can see a mother at home, she's virtually responsible for most of the domestic, you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I think God has given her a special ability.
Exactly.
Okay.
That she can also do very well.
I am keen to know, I brought the question forward, but I think there is need to go back to this question on the award winners, both individual and organizations. When I look around, I see the names of names like Michelle Mangani, the under-10 tennis champion, who you consider to be the youngest achiever. The likes of Justina Mutale, African Woman of the Year. So the question: how do you use those people as ambassadors to actually propagate the ideals behind this initiative?
Yeah, first, like I said earlier, we look for people that have also been advocates of development, people that have also affected their local communities positively. Automatically, you're an ambassador for anything that has to do with achievements in Africa. It doesn't end with the African Achievers Award.
Okay.
Because our model is to see that we have an ideal Africa, that more African achievers will be showcased.
Yes.
So you're indirectly an ambassador for achievements.
Okay.
So when we bestow upon you the AAA, it means that you should do more. It means that you should look for people to also mentor. So it's a process. It's an honor that has been given to you to see that you drag and pull more achievers. Because we also have the right to withdraw any award we've given to you. When we see that you have violated the ideals of the African Achievers Award.
It's happened with the former president of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe. There was a time he was awarded, and there was a protest that he wasn't a human rights defender. That award was really withdrawn. So let me rest Tony and bring you in patience quickly. We don't seem to have much time left here. What do you envision the AAA to be in the next 5 years?
I envision AAA in the next 5 years to be everywhere. Everywhere. That is our dream and aspiration, and we are going to achieve that, God's willing. And I envision seeing AAA making a lot of impact in the life of young men and women that will be celebrated globally. I see AA bringing out the best from people, bring out new inventors. You know, who knows? You never can tell. You can see a new inventor inventing, maybe in Nigeria, inventing something that has never been created, and Sierra Leone as well. And so AAA in the next 5 years, I can tell you we're going to come back here, or maybe you will visit us in Nigeria. Then we will sit you like this, and I will remind you of this day and tell you that now you see it's 5 years now, and AAA is everywhere in the globe, and we will be happy to see that come as a reality.
If I come to you for your closing thoughts, Mr. Jibate,
Yes,
the same question: how are you looking forward to harnessing the synergy of this college you guys have established by way of giving a productive turnover of students?
Yeah, before we get to the student, one thing we are passionate about is getting back into the educational system, working with governments, the Ministry of Education, and to see how we can give a total overhaul to our curriculum, and how that would empower.
To serve the job market?
Not just the job market, our populace. 39.4% of our total population is youthful crop.
It's a bulging population.
Yes, and we want to make those the productive arm of our country that will boost our economy and every other aspect, including the one you just spoke to, having women in governance. We want to see young women in governance, and also in another sphere for society. And I think that will help overall in our educational system. I'm not saying the past is bad, but take what's good from what we've enjoyed from the past and refine it, make it modern, so that we can have a global taste of what Sierra Leone needs to be. And I'd just like to take this opportunity to wish our friends from AAA successful launch, new program, and then hope to strengthen the proclamation. I think you just made a partnership.
Yeah, and you're invited.
Sure. Thanks for that. And yeah, it's an era for young people to take over this continent and show that yes, we are not a dark continent, we're a continent of light.
Okay. Tony, quickly, how will you avoid the notion that most of the persons you selected to the Achievers Award is not based on what principally people could refer to as a selective show of concern, but rather they deserve being what they are?
One of the things...
By the way, you are a lawyer. People are expecting you to be in court and have a fine day.
I think I found a new passion.
Yeah, that's great.
And the passion is seeing how we can put Africa back on the global stage.
Develop talents.
And develop talents, yes.
Exactly.
Yes. The AAA, we have a selection committee, a committee that screens and also give findings to see that every single person selected are people that have good track record, are people that have a high standard of reputation, are people that their character has not been questioned in terms of their work, in terms of their personality, in terms of also their social impact. What have they done? Because Martin Luther said something. He said, if a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep that street that the host of heaven and earth will know there was a sweeper.
Yes.
So this is our model of selecting the African achiever. So I actually don't see, yes, we're not perfect. We're not perfect as humans, but we try as much as possible to see that our selection process, it's not faulted anywhere. So I'm sure that you will see great Africans, people that you would also be excited to associate with, people that you will also see that young people that are growing up can also emulate from their lives. Because we want to see that Africa will also be regarded amongst top nations. Nations in Africa should also be, when you're talking about Canada, you should talk also about Sierra Leone, you should talk also about Ghana, you should talk also about Nigeria. So that is our model. And when you have achievers globally that are celebrated as Africans, then the Western nation will also respect Africans. Someone told me he was searched severally because he wore slippers and a shorts severally at the airport, somewhere in the West I don't want to mention. But back home, he's a young man that people respect because he has also created value. So we want to see that, yes, we still have bad eggs in Africa, but we want to see that we have more people that were respected when they leave the shores of their country to also go to Europe. So I'm happy to tell you that every single person that has been nominated in the African Achievers in the past have not been found wanting.
So tonight, what are you looking forward to this great occasion?
Yeah, tonight, like I said, we're launching the chapter. And it's in our culture to see that we also recognize few people in anticipation of July, where we have the global event. Okay. That's the main African Achievers Award. Okay. We want to see that we have more people, to see that development does not lie just in the government. It also lies with the people. We want to see that we have more people, even when their names are not called up as honorees. We want to see that people in the room should also know they are also achievers. They also have a role to play back in their local community. They also have a role to play in their organization. We want to see that one person can change the other person can change the other person, and it becomes a chain of development. So we hope that this event, being in Sierra Leone and Freetown now, will also resonate the African spirit that we are one. And being one is that we should be our brother's keeper, which is one of the greatest commandments.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, before saying thank you for honoring this invitation, being part of this program, I leave you with a quotation coming from the late Komla Dumo, one of African best.
And one of the African Achievers Awards.
Achievers, yes. And he said, until the lion learns how to write its story. The narrative could always glorify the hunter. And we are learning to write our story. It's too much that our history and story have been written in a way we don't like it.
Sure.
Let's take the bull by the horn.
Sure.
Otherwise, thank you so much for honoring this invitation. Tony Rex, I must be careful. Idami Nabro.
Yeah.
You got it right.
I got it right. And also keep our patience quiet.
Are you sure you're not in Nigeria?
We have a huge Nigerian community. I hope you'll find time to meet them.
You will.
Very huge Nigerian community here.
Wow.
You hardly distinguish as to who, whether it's a real Nigerian or is a real
That's the African
Sudanese.
spirit.
That's the Africanness.
Yes.
Thank you so much for honoring, and also to you, Mr. Jubati, for honoring this invitation, being part of this program. Looking forward to you guys having a very successful launching of the chapter of the AAA.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much
Thank you,
for
sir.
having
Thanks
us.
for having us.
Thank you so much. Till then, this is how I don't have the curtain into this edition of the program. My name is Abdul Rahman Kamal.